If you see dogs as loyal companions somewhere in the northern hemisphere, they are ruthlessly placed on the menu. Join me in uncovering the haunting journey behind this grim reality. It is common practice in China to keep dogs that are produced for meat in specialist dog farms or in breeding facilities that are on a smaller scale. These canines are typically of certain breeds that are native to the area and were chosen for their rapid growth and high output. The Huabei dog, the Shandong dog, and a few other smaller varieties are examples of common breeds that are raised for the purpose of producing meat. Most of the time, the living conditions of dogs that are raised for meat are really deplorable. They are confined to cages that are overcrowded and cramped, and there is not enough room for them to walk around, run around, or even rest peacefully. The vast majority of these establishments are devoid of adequate sanitation and drainage systems, which results in conditions that are filthy, contaminated, and filled with an intolerable odor. The majority of the time, the dogs are confined to small cages that are stacked on top of one another. They are unable to walk around freely, which causes them to be continually anxious, fatigued, and susceptible to illness. In addition, the medical conditions on these farms are subpar, and there is very little to no adequate care that is implemented. Rarely are the dogs given the appropriate vaccinations, and their diet is frequently inadequate, deficient in key nutrients. As a result, they are susceptible to infections and experience a dramatic decrease in their health. Consider what it would be like to be one of these dogs and to have to endure such deplorable living conditions on a daily basis. Are you able to endure and find happiness? In China, the practice of raising dogs for the purpose of meat production is frequently outmoded, poorly controlled, and does not fulfill even the most fundamental animal welfare requirements. The primary purpose of these dogs' breeding is to maximize their rate of weight growth, and their food is extremely deficient. The dogs are frequently fed scraps from restaurants, which may include bones, fat, or food that has lost its freshness. The food that is given to the dogs is frequently leftovers from restaurants. Waste from the home is also frequently utilized, such as stale meat, vegetables, or rice that has been left over from the previous meal. In other cases, dog farms resort to employing food ingredients that are either inexpensive, unlabeled, or even rotten. Not only does this diet deprive the dogs of vital nutrients, but it also puts their health at risk, making them more prone to illness than they would otherwise be. In addition, there is an inadequate supply of water, which forces the dogs to endure a severe lack of water throughout their lives. It might take anywhere from a few months to a year for the farming process to be completed, depending on the breed and the conditions of care it requires. During this period, the dogs are confined to cages that are overcrowded and do not provide any place for them to exercise, which can result in problems with their physical and mental health. In order to obtain the best possible weight for the dogs, which is normally between 8 and 12 pounds, these farms strive to achieve this target before the canines are either sold or slaughtered. The dogs, on the other hand, receive very little to no medical attention throughout this time period, and they commonly suffer from illnesses that are brought on by the horrible living circumstances they are maintained in. This approach is not merely a barbaric method of operation. However, significant ethical and animal welfare concerns are also raised by this. As soon as the canines achieve the required weight, they are gathered together in order to get them ready for transportation to slaughterhouses. Transportation of dogs from farms to slaughterhouses is a process that is sometimes fraught with anxiety and exceptionally difficult to accomplish. They are forced to undergo long flights in situations of stress, oxygen deprivation, and inadequate cleanliness. The dogs are confined in cramped cages that are stacked on top of each other before being transported. When dogs arrive at slaughterhouses, they are frequently subjected to conditions that are inadequately sanitary and hazardous to their health. In order to avoid public criticism and opposition from animal welfare organizations, these facilities often operate in a secret manner within their premises. After being slain and prepared, Dog meat is then supplied to restaurants and local markets, and in some cases, it is even sold straight to consumers. There is typically no regard for cleanliness or health regulations throughout the slaughtering process, which is characterized by great brutality. There are certain slaughterhouses that use brutal tactics, such as hitting the dogs before they are killed, or they do not use safe methods when they butcher the animals. After it has been processed, dog meat is rarely submitted to appropriate health inspections or compliance with food safety rules, which results in significant issues over the safety of food preparation. In China, the practice of raising dogs for the purpose of consuming their meat not only raises concerns over the welfare of animals and the safety of food, but it also has enormous effects on both the culture and the environment. Responses from the world community and groups that advocate for the welfare of animals have been very strong in response to the consumption of dog meat in China, especially in big cities, where knowledge of animal rights is rapidly expanding. A significant number of Chinese consumers are currently altering their dietary patterns and avoiding the consumption of dog meat. Although the consumption of dog meat has drastically decreased over the past few years, there are still some rural and suburban regions where it is still prevalent, despite the fact that it has been declining. It is well known that the city of Ulan, which is located in Guinea province, is the greatest consumer of dog meat in China. This is especially true during the Ulan Dog Meat Festival, which takes place every year in June. This festival has garnered a large amount of attention from people all around the world, owing to the magnitude of its celebration and the controversy that surrounds the consumption of dog meat. The festival is responsible for the slaughter of about 10,000 to 20,000 dogs annually, according to reports. However, it is possible that the actual number actually exceeds this estimate. It is at this period that dog meat is publicly sold in restaurants and marketplaces in Ulin, which draws in customers from the surrounding area as well as tourists. In Ulan, the consumption of dog meat is not restricted to the festivals that are held there. Additionally, it is a component of the culinary culture of the region. In Ulan and certain regions in southern and western China, dog meat is regarded as a delicacy that is believed to promote health, particularly during the warm summer days. This is despite the fact that dog meat is not a regular dish in all Chinese towns. Despite the fact that there is no substantial scientific evidence to back up this idea, locals assert that consuming dog meat can help the body regulate its temperature and restore its energy levels. It has been reported by a number of sources that Ulan's markets and restaurants consume around 2,000 tons of dog meat on an annual basis. It is common practice to purchase dogs from rural areas or even steal them from homes, and then transfer them to Ulan for the purpose of slaughter. The meat is cooked into a variety of recipes, ranging from stews to foods that are grilled, and it is offered in family meals or small eateries, where it is still considered to be a delicacy. Even though there has been criticism from the international community and appeals from organizations that advocate for the welfare of animals to put an end to the Ulan Dog Meat Festival, the consumption of dog meat is still widespread around this time. Despite the fact that local authorities and animal welfare groups, both domestic and international, have expressed their objection to the consumption of dog meat, the culinary tradition of certain communities continues to include the consumption of dog meat. During special occasions, such as the summer season or traditional festivals, the consumption of dog meat is still widespread in South Korea, which is another country outside of China that follows this practice. In spite of the fact that the consumption of dog meat in South Korea has substantially decreased over the course of the past few years, a portion of the population still considers it to be an integral part of their culinary tradition. It is considered that this dish possesses nutritious properties and can have a positive impact on health, particularly when the weather is hot. There is a belief in Korean culture that eating dog meat can help chill the body and provide energy to those who put in a lot of effort. It is common practice in South Korea to prepare dog meat in the form of dishes such as boseontang, which is a soup made with dog meat and herbs, or gongju, which is grilled dog meat. Even though it is not a culinary item that is consumed on a regular basis, dog meat is highly popular during the summer, notably during Dano, which is a traditional Korean celebration. It is thought that during the month of Dano, which occurs in either May or June, consuming dog meat can help ease fatigue and promote health throughout the months of summer, during which temperatures are quite high. Several studies have shown that the consumption of dog meat in South Korea has experienced a significant decline over the past few years. In large part, this trend can be linked to the changing attitudes that are prevalent in society, particularly among younger generations and those who reside in major cities. The consumption of dog meat has been met with opposition by animal welfare organizations and a large number of residents, which has resulted in dietary adjustments for a significant number of Koreans. Although the consumption of dog meat has become increasingly unusual in large cities such as Seoul, a significant number of restaurants that specialize in the preparation of meals made with dog meat are progressively closing their doors. Vietnam, in addition to China and South Korea, is yet another country that continues to partake in the consumption of dog meat. Dog meat is a dish that is frequently preferred during holidays or get-togethers with friends in Vietnam, despite the fact that it is not a cuisine that is commonly found in every household. The preparation of dog meat is regarded as a specialty in specific places, such as Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh, and the northern provinces. Dog meat is frequently cooked in dishes such as boiled dog, stir-fried dog, or grilled dog meat. It is claimed that this dish is nutrient-dense and can assist in improving one's health and vigor, particularly when consumed in conjunction with alcoholic beverages. The consumption of dog meat in Vietnam mostly caters to the needs of a narrow subset of the population, notably to the requirements of elderly people or families who have a long-standing custom of consuming dog meat. Dog meat is still sold and consumed in various markets and restaurants, particularly at special events or gatherings, despite the fact that it is not a typical diet that people take on a daily basis. Despite the fact that this meal is not very well liked, it continues to have a unique position in the culinary traditions of certain communities. Provide a 0 if you are against the consumption of dog meat. In addition to the eating of dog meat, the market for dogs kept as pets continues to flourish in a number of nations, particularly in regions where there is a mix of traditional and contemporary perspectives on this animal. Dog meat is still consumed in certain regions of nations such as China, South Korea, and Vietnam. Nevertheless, dogs are also popular pets in modern families. This is a perfect illustration of the combination of dog meat consumption with the popularity of dogs as pets. The market for dogs kept as pets in China has been expanding at a rapid rate over the past few years. As a result of the expansion of the middle class and the growing desire for pets, a growing number of households have begun to select dogs as their companions throughout their lives. There are a number of dog breeds that are popular in China today, including poodles, shih tzus, and cocker spaniels. These breeds are often smaller and require less maintenance, making them ideal for apartment buildings that have limited living space. Similar to the situation in the United States, the market for pet dogs is fast developing in South Korea, particularly in big cities such as Seoul. Dogs are regarded as members of the family in this region, and there is a sizable market for services related to dog care, which includes establishments like as pet stores, grooming services, and hotels for dogs.